The New York Giants have signed Roy Robertson-Harris, a defensive tackle, most recently with the Seattle Seahawks. Before that, 3.5 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars after starting his career with the Chicago Bears as an undrafted free agent out of UTEP from 2016 to 2020. John Schmeelk Paul Dottino with you. Harris, a big, strong defensive lineman, Paul, adding some beef to that Giants defensive front, 6'5", 290 pounds, might even be heavier than that. He's going to be a big help and a veteran presence on that defensive front.
Versatile and athletic, very quick off the snap. John, when I say versatile, I'm not just talking about a little bit. I'm talking about a lot. When he came into the league with the Bears, they actually had him play a little outside linebacker. Subsequently, in his last 2 stops, he's played 4 different defensive line positions, including the 3 technique, the nose tackle, and defensive end spot for both a 3-4 and 4-3 scheme. So he's done an awful lot. And in his time with Jacksonville, 50-plus games, he had nearly a dozen sacks. So he got some push in the pocket because of his athleticism. Last year, the Giants' defensive tackles, aside from Dexter Lawrence, combined for only 5 sacks. So they were looking to get some push.
Yeah, you'll hear and see an interview with him on the Giants Huddle podcast coming up over the course of the next week at some point. I asked him, and he said, look, I see myself as the 3 technique. A guy that's going to line up next to Dexter Lawrence, and I want to play, the expression he kept using with me, I want to play vertical. I want to get upfield. And talking to Shane Bowen last year, that's what he wants his defensive linemen to do. He wants them getting upfield, penetrating, and getting after the quarterback. Two of his last 4 seasons, he had a pressure rate of over 10%, which is pretty good for a defensive tackle.
Well, there was one game, I believe it was 3 seasons ago, where he actually had 9 tackles in a game, which is his career high. So it shows you that he can get around the football and has some range for such a big, bulky guy. You don't think about them necessarily covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, he was a starter for his 3.5 years in Jacksonville, played over 60% of the snaps. And again, it's another body up there, Paul, to go up front with Lawrence, with Nacho. It's a really good defensive tackle draft class. You can still add to the position there if you want. So the Giants, again, trying to build through the trenches, fortify that defensive front. Not just getting after the quarterback, but just as important, stopping the run.
We had said all along you could expect the Giants to add defensive linemen and probably a veteran, and then probably at least one in the draft. Well, step 1 is complete
with the signing of Roy Robertson-Harris. Stay tuned to Giants.com, the Giants YouTube channel, all of our social media channels for continuing coverage of free agency.